Hi folks, this is Andy Skinner with Nevidon.com. This video is to give you a short introduction to the RAMP Stochastics scanner. I have the RAMP program up. In step 1 we'll have to select some symbols. So I'm just going to use the free internet data end of day, and I will select the Dow 30. Now let's look at the Stochastics scanner. It's under step 3 under the More button. And these are all various scanners that have been contributed by users, and I'm adding more all the time. I'll click on the Stochastics scanner. This little window pops up. In this window you can set your stochastic settings, and they're very simple, but I will go through them in some detail. Here are the traditional stochastic settings. This is the number of bars you'll be looking at. In this case it looks back 15 bars. This is the first smoothing of your stochastics, and this is the second smoothing of the stochastics value. Next we have the scan for stochastic values over. In this case I've put in an 80, that's the default. That will show me any charts with stochastic values over 80. Scan for stochastic values under 20. This scan will also show me all charts with a stochastic value under 20. Show support and resistance lines. This will overlay automatic support and resistance lines right over your stochastic scans. Here you can save settings. When you click Save Settings, your settings are locked in so that the next time you run the stochastic scanner, they're remembered. Let's start really simple with a very simple stochastic. I'm going to put in a 6, a 1, and a 1. What I'm asking for here in this stochastic setting is for the scanner to look 6 bars back. So it's only looking at the most current or recent 6 bars, and it's going to find the highest high and the lowest low. So basically I'll get a horizontal channel. The top of the channel is the highest high in the last 6 bars. The bottom of the channel is the lowest low. Now the stochastics happens to be where the price is in that channel. If the highest high happened to be at 20 and the lowest low happened to be at 10, then halfway in between would be 15. If my price was sitting on 15, that would be halfway between the highest high and the lowest low. That would give me a raw stochastic of 50. Stochastics is a 0 to 100 scale. Halfway between highest high and lowest low is 50. That's a really brief explanation of what raw stochastics is, and it's really just that simple. Now, when I ask for a 1 and a 1 says there's no smoothing. And so I'm not going to have any smoothing here. So all I'm going to see is the raw 6-bar stochastics. Let me start scan. And you can see this raw stochastics is pretty jagged here. I'll let the scan finish. Let's look at American Express, AXP. Now remember, we did a 611 stochastics, so we're only looking at the last 6 bars. So I'm going to zoom in on the last 6 bars. Here are the last 6 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where is the price between the highest high, which is right here, and the lowest low, which happens to be the current bar right here? You can see it's just barely off the bottom. There's the closing price. So you would get a stochastics that is around 10. And if you look down here, here's the stochastics line. It's at the bottom of the current trading range. A traditional stochastics would be a number more like a 14 and a 4 and a 4. Let me explain those numbers. It's really very simple. The 14, just like the 611, says you want to look back 14 bars. Only consider the last 14 bars. Find the highest high and the lowest low, and then where's your close in that channel? That would be your raw stochastics. Now the next one over is the first smoothing that you're asking for it to do. In other words, you want it to take the raw stochastics line and smooth it. Take a 4-bar moving average of it to make it a little smoother. That's your first smoothing of the stochastics. Stochastics is generally smoothed 2 times. The next setting is your second smoothing. In other words, it takes the 4-bar smoothing and it smooths it again by 4 bars to make it even smoother. What you'll see on the charts are 2 lines. You'll see the first smoothing and the second smoothing. Stochastic users look at stochastics in various ways. They may call them fast stochastics, slow stochastics, even I've heard the term full stochastics. But what we're really looking at here is what number are you using to smooth it and how many times do you want it smoothed. I'll look at the 14.4 and we'll run that same scan over the Dow 30 and you can see how much smoother and more well controlled the lines are. In this case we got 9 results that were either over 80 or under 20. Here's a good example right here. I'll zoom in on this stochastic value. This is the 80 line. Note that the red line, which represents the second smoothing, is lagging and it's still above the 80 mark. So it was found in this scan. The first line, the blue line, which was the first stochastics, is well below. It's down in the 65 range. The reason I bring this up is you should be aware that the scanner is scanning for the second smoothing. Now I can take this one step further and I can say, but I only want it to smooth it one time. So I can put a 1 here. Now it's going to take my raw stochastic. It will not smooth it because a 1 doesn't do any smoothing. And the second smoothing will be a 4. So that ends up being a single smoothing of 4. So in short, if I want to only smooth one time rather than twice, I would put a 1 in the center. So no smoothing occurs. Then I would put the number of bars I want it smooth in the last setting. I'll click on Help because I want to show you one more feature. In the Help button, everything is explained, and I want to scroll down to the bottom to show you what happens when I use this option that shows support and resistance lines. The first chart I'm going to show you is a stochastic scan for Altera Corporation. You can see that I have a stochastics over 80. This scan was done without automatic support and resistance lines. I checked the automatic support and resistance lines, and this is the same chart coming back with automatic support and resistance lines. Now there are some subtle differences here that I want to show you. First of all, when I didn't use automatic support and resistance lines, you can see that the chart doesn't go back as far. So the candlesticks are a little bigger and it's easier to read. But you can zoom in anyway, as I showed you a few minutes ago. In this case, because I'm overlaying automatic support and resistance line, ramp automatically goes back to the longest support or resistance line and zooms accordingly so you can see all of the lines. So you'll see the candles are a little more scrunched together. That was done so it could reach clear back here and pick up this point, which is very important in this scan to show this line. And you can see this stock has run up and hit this cluster of resistance and is retreating from it. If you don't recognize what the red and the blue lines are, I encourage you to watch the Bob chart videos. Red lines are trend lines, the blue lines are reaction lines. They will turn a stock just like a trend line will. These lines are completely automatic. The stochastic scanner works equally well in real time. So I'm going to select active tick data, and now I'll select my time frames. Well, I could do 5-minute and 30-minute, about 4-hour bars. 5-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour. Now I'm going to select my Dow 30 symbols. An active tick has started to gather the data for me. You can see over here that's showing me there's 60 data sets required. It's pulling the data in. I'm at 8 out of 60 right now. And when it gets to 60, I'll have all the data on board, and it'll be updating very quickly at that point, so I can start the real-time scan. Now that I have my time frames and symbols selected, I'll go to my stochastic scanner. I'm going to ask for, I can use the 1544, either above 80 or under 20 is fine, and I'll start scan. You'll see the ramp program doing stochastic scans in real time. It's scanning all symbols in 3 time frames. I have some 5-minute bars intermixed with 30-minute bars, and there's a 240 right there, Caterpillar. With that, I'll close this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.